Hi, hello, welcome back with Besties to another video. As you can see by today's title, we're going to be talking about all things annotations. Now, I still have not decided whether this is going to go up before or after my Annotate with Me video, but whatever it may be, here we are. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh my gosh. So, in today's video, we're going to be going through why I started annotating, how I annotate, my annotation supplies, what I annotate and things like that. I have a whole thing on my iPad of all my talking points, just like little small points that I want to talk about. Because if I didn't, this video would be very unorganized and we'd be here all day. And we don't need to be here all day. We need to be here for maybe 30 minutes, maybe even less than that, maybe 20 minutes, and we'll be good. So, why I personally annotate and why most people start annotating is they want more from their books, whether they just want to they just want more from their books. So they're reading and they're like, I want to do something more. So they start by writing in the margins, highlighting, underlining, circling things, whatever it may be, whatever you may need to do to get more from your books. I personally started annotating because all the books that I was reading when I first started annotating had these quotes that I just really wanted to remember. So I would write in pencil beside it, I need to remember this, or like I would underline it or whatever. So whatever you may be, why you want to annotate, that's all up to you. Why you decide to annotate, but personally for me, it was like the quotes and these little moments I just kind of wanted to remember from my books and remember for forever and be able to go back to and literally look at that exact point and try to remember how I felt in that moment. Now, what I annotate, like I just said, I annotate a lot. Okay, I annotate nearly every single book that I read. Most of the time, I wait until after I've read the book a first time to annotate. But if I get the feeling during a first read through the book that I want to annotate, I go ahead and start. I start writing, I start underlining, whatever it may be. What I annotate is usually quotes and moments that I really, really love. Um, Plot lines, characters and relationships, things like that. For example, in my copy of Spark and the Everflame, all the tabs that I use, all the different color tabs, have a meaning behind them. And most of my time, my annotations are pretty standard and they're used for the same thing. So, like in fantasy books, I have a world building tab, and then as you can see, world building, quotes and moments, romance, tension, plotline slash connections, characters, and then action slash shocking moments. So usually that's what I'm annotating. Since I read a majority of fantasy, this is what my tabs will look like in any fantasy book that you pick up on my shelf. These will be the annotations that you will always see. Um, because I feel like that's all I really need. Sometimes you pick up a book and there may be extra things that you want to annotate. It kind of depends on the book and the feelings the book is giving you. That's how I dictate what to annotate sometimes in books. Like sometimes there'll be extra tabs. Like I said, the world building plot stuff are the main ones that you will see in every single one of my fantasy books. But sometimes in my fantasy books, I'll add one for like a specific character because that's my favorite character, or there may be a plot point in this that's not directly related to the plot, but I'll add another one in to have. It's kind of like I said, it kind of depends on what the feeling of the book is giving you. Now, for romance books, obviously they are completely different to fantasy books, but I still usually annotate and tab those. And those look a bit different, not much different, but just a little different. In my dark romance books, there usually is a plot line that we are following throughout the whole book. So you're still going to have that plot tab, but you may have like a tab for romance, and then you may have a tab for just like smut scenes or things like that. But most of them are particularly the same. I usually add in another tab in my romance books because sometimes there are just like little moments in there that I kind of just want to tab and make a note of. So like I said, they're pretty much the same thing. You have your quotes, you have your characters, you have your plot, you have romance, action, and then your other tab. So that's pretty much how the majority of my romance books get tabbed. Sometimes there's even less than that. It just kind of depends on the book itself. Um, but I read a lot of dark romance, and a lot of dark romances, besides the romance itself, there's an actual plot line going on in the book that's trying to reach an end goal for. So I usually have a plot tab in those. Now for like my mystery thriller books, I didn't think I was ever gonna tap those, but I do want to now. So like my natural series all have a tabbing system to correlate with them. Like Killer Instinct here has a tab system. Um, and it's just funny little, like small little ones. It's not as many as my fantasy books, obviously. You just have your characters, your plot, your shocking moments, like a little plot twist that you don't see coming, romance, and funny because the Natural series has a subplot of romance in it, so I have that, but also it has some very funny moments that have me laughing that I absolutely love. So my mystery thrillers get annotated a bit differently than everything else because sometimes I don't even have that many tabs. I may have 4 tabs for a mystery thriller book. Like I'm pretty sure my annotation system for their vicious games, which I don't have at the moment, is maybe like 4 or 5 tabs for like plot, characters, shocking, and something else. I don't remember, but it has like maybe 4 of it. So just you decide on what you want to annotate. But like I said, most of my center annotations are usually going to be the same 5, 6 things in every single book, depending on if it's fantasy, romance, or my mystery thriller books. But what you decide to annotate is all up to you. Next, you're going to talk about the supplies I use. Now, these supplies I have used for my whole journey of annotating pretty much. I recently discovered the pens that I currently use at the moment. I do want to get some more neutral colored pens and highlighters because the ones that I have are really bright and some of the books I read are not very bright. As you can see, a lot of them are kind of like dark in color. Like with Killer Instinct, the only really color you have is purple. So I want to get some more neutral tone colors. I just have not yet to do so. But let's start with my tabs. Now my tabs, I actually yesterday and the day before yesterday, I sat down and decided why don't I organize my tabs by color? So this was like it was a day and a half process of me sitting down and organizing my tabs by color. So like I have a fat stack of like blue, green tabs. So that way if I want to go look for the color blue, I can just pick up all of my blue ones and look at them. Guys, this is insane. Um, but these are the tabs I use. They come on sheets very, very different to this. I wish I had some to show you. I don't at the moment. Um, but they usually come on like tabs where like all the colors are kind of in the same. These are all my greens, obviously. But they come very different when they come in the pack. I get the one that's like 2,600, I believe, or 3,600 off Amazon. I will link that down below and all the other supplies that I use down below. Here are like my like peaches tones, you know. Well, it's up here, but so I just like I said, I just organize them all by color because I'm a big color person, and the way I annotate, I pick the tabs based on the cover of the book. So whatever the colors of the cover are, I usually have matching tabs to go along with those with such colors. Here are all my purples, guys. When I tell you there's so many colors, so many different variations of colors, I love it. Um, So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not gonna try and give you all of them because if we did, we'd be here all day. But I did sit and organize these for like a day and a half, which just sounds crazy. But those are the tabs I use. I get them off Amazon. I actually have a monthly subscription for them where I get one pack every month, and it's like $10, $12, I believe, for like 3,600 pieces for them, and it comes on like 8 or 9 different like thingies like this. They come on this thing, the plastic thing, and then I just get those. And if I can need to skip a month, I can skip a month because I don't always need more. But since I am getting back into annotating the next couple months, I'm not going to skip and I'm just going to let them come in because I need them. Because I'm about to get into heavily annotating. Now, for pens that I use two different pens. I have the Papermate Ink Joy pens, which come in a wide variety of colors. I say wide as if it's so many, but there's like a bunch of blues, a couple different purples, a couple different pinks, a couple different greens. Like you have brown, you have gray, and you have black, obviously. And those are these are the ones that I mainly use at the moment, strictly for the fact that the other pens that I used to use smudge a lot more than these do. Um, and these you can't really see on pages, on the back of pages, but the other ones you kind of can depending on which color you're using. But these do not smudge, which I love because I used to have the old ones that I used to use smudge very easily. So I don't use those ones as much, but these are so pretty. Um, and the point of the pen is very small. This is, I believe, is point 0.7. Yeah, it's a Papermate Ink Joy Gel point 0.7. And so the tips on these are kind of tiny. You can't even really see that. If it'll focus on that, it's not going to, but they write really good. I love the way these write. And they don't smudge, which gives them a very big plus in my book. Um, and that makes me very happy. Here are the other pens that I use. These are the Pilot G2 pens in 07. These are a bit thicker than the Papermate ones, and these smudge a lot easier than my other pens. But I have these in all sorts of colors. I need to get some more because a couple of these are actually broken. I just have yet to do so because I don't use these as much anymore. But if I do, when I get some more, they will all be brand new. And at one point, I'll do it, just not right now because, like I said, I don't use these often. But I like these because they have the normal colors, but they also have like the kind of odd colors, like this blue. I really love to use this blue pen. Um, or like this orange pen, I really enjoy using as well. Um, so yeah, I just really love these ones for the odd one or two colors that you get and the packs with them. And you can get these. I get these from Walmart. I get both of the pens that I use from Walmart, but you can also get them on Amazon on like bigger packs with more colors. Which I plan on doing at some point. I just need to figure out a bigger thing to keep them in, which we'll get to in a moment. Next up is highlighters, which I feel like is the basic highlighter that everybody uses, which is the Zebra mild liners. Oop, okay. My brown one has gone to the floor. Anyways, the Zebra mild liners, I feel like everybody uses these highlighters. I do want to get some more neutral toned highlighters as well, and they actually have some. They also have some like pastel ones that I want to get in the Zebra mild liners. But these are the ones that work really well for me. I love the way these feel when I'm like highlighting on a page. They're super easy. They're not very streaky or anything like that. You can just highlight and they'll look very good on a page. So I love the way these look. Um, but I do want to get to more of these and more of the like pastel kind of ones because while I enjoy these, I love me a good pastel color or neutral tone colors, especially for a lot of the books that I read. But yeah, I use these. I get these off Walmart, but I will leave an Amazon link down below. I actually have an Amazon wish list with strictly all of my annotation supplies on them. So if you want to go look at that, you can. I don't have an Amazon storefront, but I do have an Amazon wish list where you can look at all my supplies and see what I use. The last of my supplies, I guess, is my pouch that I keep my paper my ink joy and my mild liners in. I got off of Amazon, which is where I get the majority of my supplies, obviously. I could probably go to Michael's and find some good stuff too, if I'm being honest with you. I just have yet to do so. Speaking of which, I might go to Michael's today. Anyways, I got this off Amazon. I absolutely love it because it stretches out to be this big. I keep it like this usually, and all my mod liners and my pens will go in here. But like I said, if I'm going to be diving deep into annotating, I'm going to need something bigger than just this because I'm going to have 1,000,001 supplies for annotating, and I want a place where I can keep my tabs, my pens, my highlighters all in one spot. So I have to go searching for everything. Not that I go searching for everything right now at this moment, but I do want to have a place where I can keep it all in one spot and things like that. What are you doing? But that's all of my supplies, my pens, my highlighters, and the pouch. Like keep them all in the tabs that I use. Honestly, these tabs absolutely perfect. I will on occasion use a good little post-it note. And what I will do with that post-it note is write my thoughts on that post-it note and like a little summary on the post-it notes. So like in Legendborn, the book is split into different parts. And so I'm pretty sure at the end of each part, I was putting a sticky note pretty much with like bullet points on like little notes that I took during the chapter. So like this one right here is at the end of part one. And I'm pretty sure I had one that I was gonna do one towards the end of part two. But I may come throughout this specific part and write like a little dot for each thing that I want to memorize from this part that may connect back to the next part that we're going to. Which I love doing. I also recently discovered transparent sticky notes, which I want to get some of. I don't have any. I can't say some more, but I want to get some of those to have and see if I like using those. I may not. I may hate them and decide against it, but I do use sticky notes on occasion to kind of, like I said, mark the end of the part and remember little plot points that I may need to come back to at a later date and time in the book. Now, if you're watching this and you're like, wow, your annotation is like so sophisticated, how did you start? Here are some tips I would definitely say. Start out using pens. I mean, pencils. Start out using pencils. When I first started annotating, I used pencils. I don't own any other books that I used to own with my pencil annotations in them anymore. Because I've gotten new copies and I didn't feel like going back through and erasing all of that. So I've just gotten new copies of them and I will annotate them later. But I did start with pencil. I was underlining in pencil. I was writing in pencil. I was making little notes in pencil. Do listen, annotating is scary to begin with. You don't want to ruin your books. You think you're going to ruin them by writing them in pen. You may come back later and hate what you've done with the book. So I will always recommend you start with pencil. So if you can erase, if you want to erase it, you can erase. But once you get comfortable, definitely start diving deeper into pens, highlighters, and things like that. Doodle, doodle in your books. I doodle in my books because doodles sometimes are just what are doodled on the page. You start how you want to start, but my number one tip: always start with pencil. As also start with tabs because tabs are easy as removing a piece of sticker off of a page. Um, so these are always removable. If you find something in a book where you put a tab and you only want that tab, take it out. So pencil and tabs are your best friends because they're both undoable. You can take out the sticky tab and you can erase your pencil, but you cannot erase that highlighter and you cannot erase that pen. So beware of that. Um, Another thing, don't try to let other people get in your head about what they annotate. Don't try to make it something big. It is so simple. It is so simple. Don't think too hard about it. Just do it. Some people are always trying to make annotating some big philosophical thing for them. But if you just want to annotate just to make your books look pretty, annotate to make your books look pretty. It is your book. It is your property. You bought it with your money. Like it is yours to do whatever you please with. So don't think too into it. Just annotate, doodle. Like I said, again, doodle if you need to doodle in your book. If that's what's gonna make you happy to make your book look good to you, doodle in your book. Okay. Also, another tip for beginners: you are not going to get the hold on annotating after that. Okay, it has taken me a while to get to the point where I'm at, where I know what I want to annotate, how I annotate, and things like that. What I want to highlight, what I want to underline, what I want my books to look like. It is going to take a while for you to figure out the whole annotations thing. Yes, you can take tips and tricks from other people and make it your own, whatever that may be, but you don't have to rush to figure out how you want to annotate. It is a process. It is something you need to think about. It is something that is yours, and you need to be able to understand it in your own terms. So it is not going to come to you in a day or two after you first start. It is going to take time to build up your own process and so on and so forth. So be patient with yourself, because trust me, I was frustrated in the beginning as well. But now that I've gotten a groove on things, I absolutely love, love, love annotating. I love tabbing my books. I love writing in my books. I love making little notes. I love making little doodles. I love highlighting. I love underlining. I love circling. Whatever it may be, it is up to you how you want to annotate. Now, we are going to take a look at some of my favorite annotations and some of my favorite books. Now, obviously, I have not read anything since I just got back into reading. So obviously, I don't have very many books that are fully annotated all the way through. Though my big goal in 2025 is to have at least 5 books that are completely annotated from beginning to end. Every single page has something underlined, written on, whatever it may be. That is my big goal for 2025. So I have a stack here of books that we are going to look at and kind of sort of flip through what my annotations look like. Some of them will have kind of my older versions of annotations from like early 2024 when I was reading. And then some of them will have how I annotate now, which is kind of different to how I used to annotate in 2024. But we're going to take a look at it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to dive deep into my annotations really fast. 2 to 3 minutes. Just want to show you what some annotations look like so you can get a feel of how annotations look and not just my tabbing and whatever or whatnot. So let's hop right to it. Don't mind that mess back there. I was journaling before I started filming this video. Just ignore that. Let's just look at some of my annotations. As I said, first we can look at Hooked, which is a book that I literally just tabbed. I have not gone back through and done annotations. So sometimes what I like to do first is go through and pretty much just tab my book. I will have a tab color that matches all of the cover of the book, and for everything I want to tab. So obviously I have quotes and moments, characters, plot, romance, action, and other. And I just go through and tab those moments. Arch your back, please. Yeah. Okay, still ask for all that. 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 Sit down. Stay down. Stay down. Sit. Just go. So I just went through and tabbed all of this. And I would go back, highlight, underline, whatever it may need be in the book at a later date and time. But for now, I just have all my tabs in place for where I want them because sometimes I don't feel like fully annotating a book, so I'll just tab the book so that way when I come back later, I can highlight, underline, all of that instead of trying to annotate the whole book all the way through. But I love the way these look. These tabs match very well to the cover, and the way I do my tabs is I try to leave them not too far sticking out, so they may be like just barely off the page. Let me find a good one for you to look at. Like this red tab right here. She, as you can see, that is barely off the page. And that's how I usually try to make sure I do it, unless I'm tabbing a hardcover book. Um, then the tabs can come out a little further. But for my paperbacks, I try to stick them out as little as possible so they don't look all crazy and wonky. Um, so yeah, that's how Hooked looks just tabbed. Now for something that I annotated early 2024, here is Blood Mercy. So obviously I have a tabbing system where I don't even know what my tabs are. Okay, whatever. I have a tabbing system that I want to use, and as you can see, this book has been underlined, highlighted, written in all of the above with the tabs, which is how this is what it would normally look like all the way through. But I have yet to go back and do that with Hooked. But this is how it would normally look. I have things that are just underlined without a tab. Um, and then usually what I used to do is highlight and underline whatever I'm tabbing, but I don't do that so much anymore nowadays. But a lot of back then I would highlight and highlight and underline whatever I was tabbing. As you can see, I kind of fell away from that as I was annotating this one. And like I said, I don't do that as much anymore. Sometimes I do, not all the time. This book is not obviously annotated all the way through. This is a big book. This is over 600 pages. I have yet to finish it. Um, Although when I do my reread, I will be tabbing this all the way through. So I'm excited to get back to this. Moving on to another example, I have Daughter of No Worlds, which is one that I'm currently working on. As you can see, because my tabs are in the book. But this one has so many tabs. As you can see, I have world building, characters, romance, favorite coaching moments, plot, other, foreshadowing. Like I have like 8 tabs here just for this one book. And as you can see, I have like little squigglies that I like to do sometimes. Just to make the lines look a little different because I don't always want to have perfect even lines. So sometimes the squigglies just make it stand out on a page when I'm flipping through. So I love looking at these when I'm going through them. My favorite thing in the whole world to come back and flip through my annotations and see what I'm underlining, highlighting. Most of the time nowadays, when I'm highlighting conversations between characters, and not so much anything else. Sometimes I will, but most of the time it's just highlighting conversations between characters. This is not all the way annotated through. I'm going back and slowly annotating this. Another one that I'm actually currently working on, also, I actually was annotating this earlier today before this video, is Lady of Darkness. And as you can see, the squiggly lines have made a comeback in this book. See, sometimes I still highlight when I'm tabbing, but not underlining it as well, just highlighting it. It just kind of depends on what it is because this one only has underlining. Sometimes you need to place 2 tabs on one area, but this is one of my favorite ones that I'm currently annotating because I love the way these look. Um, so yeah. This light. I turned that on and I don't really feel like turning it back off. Like it's right there, but like it kind of mixes lighting a little bit better because it is dark outside. Anyways, that is it for today's video of how I annotate and things like that. I've been thinking about it in the back of my head as I've been filming. I'm probably going to have this go up before I annotate with me, just so you'll have a sense of how I annotate before I post that video, because that video will be coming out after this one. So it is going to be coming out this Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as all my videos do on Mondays and Fridays, except for my January wrap-up video. We don't need to discuss that. There were mishaps with that one. I don't know what book I'm going to be annotating in that video, but I will be annotating a book in that video. So you will see that, and we will have a great time annotating together because I love watching annotate with me videos. They are like my bread and butter on YouTube sometimes. It's all I really want to watch sometimes. When I'm reading is like read and annotate with me videos. So I think the person like highlighting, because the page, like people, like the sound of highlighters on a page is so satisfying to me. Anyways, final thoughts and things like that. I pretty much showed you the supplies I use, my tabs, highlighters, pens, and things like that, how I annotate, what I like to annotate, and what my annotations usually look like nowadays. Lady of Darkness and The Poppy War are my two latest ones that I've really been annotating. So these are what my annotations are probably going to look like moving forward. Just because I like the way they look. And they look really good in my opinion. Like I just love looking at my annotations in both of these books. So yeah, I'm very happy that you decided to click on this video. And if you're watching this after my annotate with me video, hey, how you doing? How'd you get here? But that is it for today's video. If you like to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, comment, whatever you want to do. I have so many other videos that you want to watch. If you want to get a feel for me, I have so many videos up on my channel. I do vlogs, I do sit down and talk videos, I do a million things for you. But that's it for this video. So I hope you have a great day, evening, night, morning, afternoon, and whatever part of the world you're having it in. My Instagram, Amazon wish list with all of the supplies and things that I use, and my Goodreads link down below. Um, so I will see you guys in my next one. Goodbye.